Alright, this should be a fun and easy one. We're going to map a Xbox controller so we can control our video game with it. Alright, let's have fun. Okay, mapping out a controller. It's pretty straightforward. If you're using character controller, that's using get axis and get button, which you should be. It's pretty easy. It's most of it's already set up pretty much. If you go ahead and hit play, I'm gonna grab my Xbox controller that I've got plugged in, and the left joystick automatically moves them. Now what we don't have control is the right lower joystick. It's supposed to do the turning. It doesn't work. And then we've got jump is mapped to the Y button here. Looks like it's also shooting. Pew! Pow! Just kind of bothersome. So we just need to go in and tweak a few things. Okay? Let's see. Okay, so if you go to Google and you do a search for Unity mapping an Xbox 360 controller, let's see, you should be able to pull up this, which here's the site here. If you want to use this, it should bring up this page. And it's going to be, and I'm sure they have one for Sony. If you've got Sony, and I believe they have one for the Wii controllers, the big ones. I don't know if they have them for the those little side controllers for the Switch. I don't know if they have those. So, and there should be one for Xbox One, but I just use this one because that's the controller I have. But what it's going to do is, you come down, it's going to have a picture. It's going to tell you which button it is by the number, and then you got the X-axis, Y-axis. That's number 9 button you push down. That's the 4th axis, 5th axis. And you've got the start button, back button. And it's all just a matter of mapping what you want to happen to these numbers. So we're going to have to do something about the jump and the shooting here. But it seems like this has already been taken care of, and we'll take a look at that. But if you look here at the chart, these are all the axes. So you know the input.get axis. There you go. So the left stick x-axis, you know, that's Windows. Right stick x-axis, which is that 4 and 5 right here. And it'll all make better sense when we get on there. But then it's got all the buttons. So the A button is button 0. Okay, when you're mapping stuff out. Okay. The only thing it doesn't have in here is the D-pad and the Xbox button. I think when you push the Xbox button on the computer, it will bring up your Xbox account, and where you're able to record your games and stuff on your computer. But it doesn't have a mapping number on there. And that D-pad's the little plus-looking button that's right here. So, but you know, you can set it up as an axis, I think. Yeah. But just the D-pad left, up, down, they don't have a setting for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and minimize this. And how you do this is, I've got my controller plugged in. And if we go to Edit, go to Project Settings. Okay, it's going to bring up, it's going to be your Input Manager. So you click on there, and it'll probably, when you go in there, it's going to look like this. Okay, and it's going to say there's a different, there's a newer input system that you can download, but this one still works, and it's one we're going to use. So you just want to click that little thing and bring it down them. Now there's 18 already preset in the system. So like I said, if you're using the get axis for your movement, these are already in here, horizontal, vertical. So if we open these up, the name's horizontal. The positive button's the right button, which, you know, is that arrow button. The alternative button is the D button for the WASD keys, you know. Then you got a gravity, sensitivity, and a little bit of a dead zone. Just in case it's too sensitive, you know, you have to move beyond that for it to start moving. That's already set up. Our fire buttons, you know, this one's the left control or the left mouse button. You know, fire 2 is the right mouse button, or the left alt. And fire 3 is the left shift, and the, I think it's the scroll wheel when you push down on the scroll wheel. I think that's what that is. Okay, jump, you know, that one's already pre-mapped to the space bar on there. And then we've got mouse X and mouse Y. You know, that's mouse. That's where you set up for your mouse look. Okay. We do have a setting for the scroll wheel, or use, but then you'll notice it kind of starts over down here. So we've already got this horizontal and vertical, and they're already set up to a type joystick axis, X-axis. Okay, so that's why this already works. When we plug in our controller into the computer, it's already picking these up, and it's already mapped out on the 360 controller. The Fire 1, okay, that's mapped out to joystick button 0. It's left to a type key or mouse button. So let's see if we pull up our paper here. And mouse button 0 is the A button. Okay. Which I think on a controller, we could probably use A for jump, and then I want to use this trigger, the third axis. Get this left trigger and right trigger. I think I want to use the right trigger for my fire. Okay, so it's going to be axis 10, or right trigger 10. Let's see here. Drop this down. Okay, so our Fire 1, we don't want it to be this there. Let's see. We want this to be a joystick axis. And it's saying it's number 10. So let's give this a try. 10th axis joysticks. If you look on the, let me pull this back up. If you look on the guidelines here, on the configuration, it's going to talk about the sensitivity and the gravity and stuff. You'll notice ours is set to 1000.001. It's telling us the best way to go is to set the sensitivity to 1, and then set the gravity to 0. Okay, then the dead zone to a 0.2 or a 0.1, whichever feels better. Then you can change them around as you need to. Okay. All right. So let's go back to here. So we only want to set this to 1 tab. We want to set this to 0.1, and set that to, what was that? Oh, we want to set this to 0. Okay, and it's saying that triggers the 10th axis joystick. So let's see if that works. So X out of there. Play. And I'm going to temporarily turn this almost all the way off. Okay, so grab the joystick here, still walking forward and backward, see if the A button, and now it's just jumping, it doesn't fire anymore, and let's try this trigger. And we got nothing. Okay. Okay, I got it figured out. I didn't do the trigger until now, so I just decided to do that live with you guys. If you look up here where it says triggers, so we got to set the axis to 3. And then the left trigger is going to be in a range of -1 to 0. And then the right trigger is going to read in a range of 0 to 1. So it's kind of a sliding axis. I guess that's why it's an axis, not a button. For like if you're doing a driving game, you can have that 0 to 1 do from you know, gas pedal to slow it all the way to the floor, you know, or brake, you know, 0 to -1, which is why they do that. So to set that up, get that down right here. What I had to do was go into let's see my scripts here, my shooting script. Okay, and I just need to add on my void update where we call our shooting script. I just needed to add a float, and I call it a trigger axis, and just put it to equals input.getAxis, and it's the same name, fire1. And then under my input for fire1 for the button, it's if input get button down fire1 and the timer is greater than or equal to between shots. We're going to do the shoot audio and shoot, and then all I did was add else if trigger axis, which is what I called this up here, is not equal to 0, which means we can do the right button, it's going to go positive, left button is going to go negative. So we don't have to do 2 separate ones. We can just say if it's not equal to 0 and the timer is greater than between shots, we're going to do our shoot audio and our shoot function. Okay, so just adding this right here, and then placing this else if below this if right here. So it's going to say either this is happening or this is happening. Okay, but it's going to perform the same duty. Okay. So if you have any more questions on this, like I said, I should have that 1 hour meeting room twice a week, and should be getting my email address that you guys can email me at. So let's go ahead and get that down. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so under our input manager, we got the fire one, we've got the gravity. This right here is set to 0.1, and we're going to change these up here real quick, and I'm going to tell you why. Then we got the joystick axis, and this is going to be the, I'm going to set this to third axis, there. Let me go ahead and see if this works real quick. Playing trigger.
Pew!
All right.
Blam! Pow!
Annoying not be able
Pew!
to turn.
Pew!
Okay,
Pow!
so we got that working,
Pew! Pew!
and it's also,
Pew!
if you do the
Blam!
left trigger, it's going to do the same thing. Okay, but
Blam!
we can't all be perfect. Alright, so let me escape out of there. Let's set up the other stuff. Okay, so we go to Edit, Project Settings. Okay, so we got our horizontal and our vertical. Okay, so it's pretty much set up there. We want to do the dead zone on our joysticks to be a 0.2. We want just a little bit more, otherwise it's a little too sensitive. We might even put this down to like a 0.5 or something if you're messing around in there. It just seems like the little joysticks are just way too sensitive to input. So, okay, so we've got our fire, we got our moving, we've got our jump, we have a couple of erroneous things here. We've got a cancel, which is set up to escape, or the joystick button 1, which is, let's see here, the B button. That could be a way we can unlock our cursor. We'll give that a shot. See what's already set up in there. Okay. Okay, so what we need to do is set up our turn axis, which is going to be, you know, that right joystick. So this is basically an array. We can actually access these from scripts and change these on the fly. You know, if you feel so inclined. But to do it now, all we got to do is just increase this from 18, and we're going to do our 2-axis for our mouse movement. So it's going to be 2 more. So we're just going to change that from 18 to 20. Okay, and then what you'll notice is it adds 2 more here at the bottom, and it's just duplicates of this last one here at the bottom. So if we open this one up, on the name, we just want to change this to mouse X, just like the name up above. Just because we've already got this input in our scripts, so it's going to read either this one or this one, you know, and do what we tell it to do. We don't want it to push the escape button, so we can just delete that one. We don't want it to be joystick button 1. Okay. Gravity, set that to 0. The dead zone, we're going to do 0.2. The sensitivity, we can set that to 1. Okay. Let's see here. And then we're going to set this up as a joystick axis. And what was mouse X is this way. I believe that was 4. Let's see. Yep. The 4th axis is left and right. So we'll go back here and we'll say axis. We'll choose 4th axis. And that's all we need to do on that one. And we'll come down here and click on that. We'll change this name to mouse Y. I don't want it to be escape button. Take that button. Then again, we want to change the gravity to 0. Dead zone 0.2. And then sensitivity just a 1. Okay. And then we want to choose joystick axis, and we want this to be the 5th axis, since that's the Y on that stick there. And I believe this should be enough to let us try it out. So let's go ahead and do that number. And hit play. So I can go forwards and backwards, and if I do the joystick, left and right. Alright. Okay, so what is going on now is it's the most annoying thing in the world is the loop rotation is inverted. So when I point it down, it goes up. So that's a real easy fix. Let's try the B button, see if we can get it to... well, we can hope and dream. Okay, so we can hit escape. Hit that. Go back to that edit. Project settings. Let's see, so that's going to be the Y button. All we got to do is go down here to invert. And just click that invert button. Now we go in there. Now we're cooking with gas. Alright. So I'm fully using the joystick. Jumping with the A button, and then I'm shooting with
Pow.
the trigger.
Blam. Blam. Pow.
All
Pow.
right.
Blam. Pew.
And then that really cool confetti effect
Blam.
there is going
Pow.
to
Pew.
be
Pow. Blam.
the particle system demonstration I'm going to put on for you, so just a little heads up. And
Pow.
if you
Pow.
like the cool sound effects for the gun, that is
Blam.
actually me saying bam and pow and pew.
Pew. Pew. Pew. Pew. Blam.
So, alright. So that's pretty much it. That's all set up and ready to go. Let's see what.
Blam.
Let's give it a shot. Alright, but that is the basics. Now you can go in there, project settings. If you want to set up those other buttons, you just add 21 and find the coordinating button, and then go in there and you can script in what you want that button to do with get button down. you know, but this gets your basic movement forward and sideways. It's got your rotation mouse look down here with your right joystick. Then we've got our jump that we've changed to the A button instead of the Y button. And then our fire 1 is going to be set to those triggers. Okay? And that's where we had to go in and adjust our shoot script. But that should be it on that one. So like I said, if you have any questions, I've got those meetings for an hour twice a week. I believe it's at 2. And then, like I said, then you should be able to get my email address, and you can just email me directly. Okay? Thanks.